Have you ever looked at your sketch, thought, this one looks pretty good, well, time for line art, and then suddenly couldn't decide how you wanted to do it? Well, do I have good news for you. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, I'm Momo, how are y'all doing today? Believe it or not, line art itself can have its own style, and the way you do your line art can completely change the overall feel of a piece. So today I'm going to share how I personally do my line art while also giving you a few tips that apply no matter what line art style you use. Like I mentioned before, line art can come in many different styles. Your line art can look more digital or more traditional, it can be flat or textured, both in the brush you use and how you actually place your lines. It can be clean and perfectly controlled or loose and dynamic. It can be thin or thick, it can have lots of line variation or none at all. It can be colored or completely black. And all of these choices change the entire feel of the piece, which is something worth thinking about if you're aiming for a very specific aesthetic. For example, scratchier, more traditional looking line art with heavy use of black fills and hatching is often used in horror or darker pieces. Meanwhile, smooth, clean and colorful line art is more common in cute or more child-friendly art. So before settling on a style, it's really important to study other artists and see what resonates with you. In my case, my line art style is heavily influenced by two of my favorite manga, Witchat Atelier and Toilet Pan Hanako-kun. Witchat Atelier's line art is one of its standout features. It's clearly inspired by early print press illustrations as well as more modern artists like the comic artist Moebius. The lines are elegant and clean, with parallel hatching doing most of the shading. It's a beautiful storybook-like style that fits perfectly with the fairy tale setting of the manga. Toilet Pan Hanako-kun is a little different. The lines aren't as clean or controlled, but they're incredibly lively. There's a lot of line variation and heavy use of black fills to create contrast. In my opinion, its imperfections are exactly what makes the art feel so energetic and fun. My own style sits somewhere in between. I like the bold design and thick varied lines of Toilet Pan Hanako-kun, combined with the heavy use of hatching you see in Witchat Atelier. So, the first real step towards better line art is figuring out which styles resonate with you the most. And that only happens if you take the time to consume and study different kinds of art. With that being said, let me ease your fears. Like most things in art, there really isn't a right or wrong way to do line art. Even things that are often considered mistakes can work perfectly fine if they're done intentionally. Scratching lines, uneven strokes, flat line arts, and even wobbly lines can all be part of a style. In fact, they can make a piece feel more unique and more human, which especially in the age of AI can actually be a really good thing. What matters more than anything is what you want from your art, rather than what the community says is the correct way to do line art. It comes down to personal tastes. That said, you can usually tell when these things are done intentionally versus accidentally. It's a bit hard to explain, but when it's intentionally, you can really feel that the artist made those choices on purpose. When it happens by accident, especially with beginners, it tends to feel more chaotic rather than controlled. One thing that I think was really important when I was first learning how to do line art was that, as a beginner, I used the dipping pen as my main inking tool. Dipping pens are kind of notorious for being one of the most difficult inking tools to use, because they require a lot more hand control to make clean, confident lines. Even though it's not a very common tip, I actually recommend that everyone tries practicing with a dipping pen at least a little bit. Traditional media is much less forgiving, so it forces you to accept mistakes, and sometimes even find creative ways to hide them or incorporate them into the artwork. It also makes you focus less on tiny details, since you can't infinitely zoom into your canvas. On top of that, it teaches you how to control pressure naturally while drawing. I'm not gonna lie, you will fail many times, and since you're using real ink, you might even ruin some clothes or furniture in the process. But it's honestly undeniable that this kind of practice helps you improve your line art much faster. And you might even end up enjoying it. To this day, when I work traditionally, I still prefer to ink with a dipping pen. In fact, almost all the pages of my now defunct comic, Cryptid, were inked traditionally using one. The nice thing about traditional art is that everything you learn from it transfers directly to digital art. Unfortunately, the opposite isn't really true. And because artists shouldn't gatekeep, let me show you the tools I usually use. For digital art, I use Clip Studio Paint EX, either on my Wacom Cintiq 16HD or on my Samsung Galaxy Tab S10. I don't usually use the default brushes that come with the program, but thankfully Clip Studio has a huge asset store with lots of free brushes. This is the brush I use for inking. I'll put the ID number on screen. That said, I did change one important setting. I completely turned off anti-aliasing. This makes lines look much crisper on larger canvases, which I tend to work on, and it also makes coloring with the bucket tool a lot easier. I also adjust the stabilization depending on what I need at the moment. Stabilization can really help smooth out your lines, but I don't recommend turning it up too much. Otherwise, the lines lose a lot of their energy and drawing starts taking way longer than it really needs to. If you're curious, this is the brush I use for sketching. I also use tools like the line tool, curve tool, and polygon tool whenever I need really precise shapes. However, I tweak their settings as well. I change the line shape to a textured line, turn off anti-aliasing, and set the start and end types to brush size. That way, even perfectly straight lines still feel hand-drawn. Before jumping into line art, you need to make sure your sketch is exactly how you want it, and most importantly, that it's clear. Different artists sketch in different ways. Some have very messy sketches, while others have very clean ones. Regardless of your sketching style, the drawing itself needs to be readable before you start inking. Once the sketch is done, you can lower its opacity and start inking. However, this can sometimes cause issues. If the sketch isn't transparent enough, you might start confusing sketch lines with line art lines. Because of that, I usually change my sketch to a completely different color, often a light blue. This way, I never mix up the sketch with the line art, and I can clearly see how the inking is coming along. I usually use fairly thick lines in my drawings, not only because I love how they look, but also because they're more comfortable for me. I tend to put a lot of pressure into my hand when I draw, and when I try to do very precise line work with thin lines, I end up pressing even harder. After about an hour, my fingers and wrists start to hurt pretty badly. I noticed that when I use thicker lines, that doesn't happen nearly as much, so when choosing how you want to approach line art, it's also important to consider your own comfort. Injuries like carpal tunnel are unfortunately very common among artists, so making healthier choices early on really matters. When I'm inking, my first lines are usually my final lines. I don't tend to redo them unless I make a mistake that really bothers me. If it's a small mistake, I usually leave it in. It adds character to the lines. I also work fairly quickly since faster strokes tend to make the line art feel more energetic. The way I use thicker lines, black fills, and hatching is mostly intuitive. That said, there are some patterns. Black fills are usually reserved for the darkest shadow areas, thicker lines often appear where two lines intersect, and hatching is used either to suggest shadow or to convey texture, especially noticeable in things like the hair. At this point, you could technically say the line art is finished, but I usually go one step further. After coloring, I go back to my line art layer and add a clipping mask on top of it. On that clipping mask, I paint the inner lines using a darker version of the base colors. I also add color to the black fills, the hatching, and sometimes to the thicker parts of the lines as well. It might seem like a small change, but it makes a huge difference. Coloring the line art softens it significantly and helps everything blend together more naturally. And that's all I have for you today. I hope this video can help you. If you want to support the channel and help me keep making videos like this, you can join my channel memberships. Members get early sneak peeks of upcoming videos and personal projects, exclusive emojis and loyalty badges, and even a shoutout at the end of my videos just like this. Thank you so much to Sunny's Art in the Sky for supporting the channel. Your support means the world. If you wanna see more stuff from me, I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at momopurin_chan, on Kara at momopurin, and on Blue Sky at momopurin-chan. Thank you all so much, and until next time, bye!